All right, my name is Justin Rempel. Welcome to the second installment of this series about poetry and meter. This is part 2. We're going to be looking at different types of feet. Remember, feet is the basic unit of measurement that we use to measure meter or rhythm in poetry. There are different types of feet, and the difference lies in how many syllables they have and which syllable is stressed or emphasized. Typically, feet are 2 to 3 syllables long, and sometimes poems are made up of all the same type of feet. Usually, metered poetry has all the same types of feet, but sometimes there's more than one kind, depending on the poem. So we're going to take a look at some of the most common types of feet, and we start with probably the most common type of foot. It's called an iamb. That B is silent, and the describing word, the adjective form, would be iambic poetry. An iamb is a foot that is 2 syllables long. The first syllable is unstressed, and the second syllable is stressed. So it sounds like da-da. Okay, heavier emphasis on the second syllable. A really good example is Shakespeare, who writes a lot of iambic poetry. Here's a line from Hamlet, a very famous line, "To be or not to be, that is the question." Okay, so if we break down the meter, we can hear the iambs, the emphasis on every second syllable. To be or not to be, that is the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, every second syllable emphasized. And you'll notice that with a lot of this stuff, there's a little bit of wiggle room for an extra syllable at the start or the end, but it's very important that you find that flow quickly. Another really common type of foot is a TROK. The adjective would be trochaic poetry. A trochee is 2 syllables long, just like an iamb, but it has the emphasis on the first syllable instead of the second. So the first syllable is stressed, the second syllable is unstressed. Da da. Okay, so if you have a line of this, it goes da 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 da. So for example, from William Blake's famous poem, The Tiger, "Tiger, tiger, burning bright." Okay, you can hear that the emphasis starts on the very first syllable and then it alternates. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's the opposite of an iamb. A spondy is another type of foot. The adjective form is spondaic. A spondy is also 2 syllables long. And in a spondy, this is not very common to find this, but a spondy has 2 stressed syllables. Da, da. Okay, they're both equal. They both have an emphasis. Okay, so here's a good example from Gerard Manley Hopkins, his poem Pied Beauty. And listen to this line: "With swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle dim." Okay, so you can tell that there's a lot of heavy stressed syllables. With swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle dim. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Every syllable gets that heavy emphasis. That's a spondy. You can tell why it's not very common. It's tough to find that many words that have emphasis placed like this. You need a lot of monosyllabic or 1-syllable words typically. Another type of foot is a PIREX or a dibrach. And the descriptive form or the adjective form is also PIREX. A PIREX foot has 2 syllables and both are unstressed. Okay, so it's the opposite of a spondy. Da da. Okay, neither syllable has a stress on it. For example, Andrew Marvell's poem The Garden has this line: "To a green thought in a green shade." And you can hear that there's a couple spondys and there's a couple PIREX found in this one line. It's very rare to find a line that's all PIREX feet, just because you need to have an emphasis somewhere. But the first couple syllables are a PIREX foot to green thought. Neither one has a stress on it in a green shade. Now we're getting into 3-syllable feet. A dactyl is a foot with 3 syllables. The adjective form is dactylic. And in a dactylic foot, the first syllable is stressed, and then the next 2 are unstressed. So it sounds like this, da, da, da. If you hear a few in a row, it sounds like this, da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, a good example is from The Charge of the Light Brigade, a very famous poem by Sir Alfred Lord Tennyson. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward. He's describing this cavalry charge, and it's a great use of dactylic meter because you really get a sense of momentum driving forward. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. And lastly, there's a foot called an ANapest. The adjective form is anapestic. It's also 3 syllables long, but it's exactly the reverse of a dactyl. So it goes unstressed, unstressed, and then the third and final syllable is stressed. So instead of da 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 da, it's da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can hear the heavy stress on the final syllable. A good example of an ANapest is found in George Gordon, Lord Byron's poem, The Destruction of Sennacherib. The Assyrian came down like the wolf on the fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Da 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 da. Okay, so you can hear how using these same feet over and over and over again creates a real rhythm or pattern that gets you a nice flow.